New York City, one of the most iconic cities in the world, was not always the shining metropolis we know today. In the early 1800s, it was a city rapidly growing and transforming, but in December 1835, a disaster struck that would forever change its history. Let's journey back to one of New York's most devastating events, the Great Fire of 1835. In 1835, New York City was a bustling but vulnerable place. Buildings were made almost entirely of wood, and fire was a constant threat. The city was growing fast, and safety regulations were practically non-existent. At this time, New York relied on volunteer firefighters and horse-drawn water carts to battle blazes, a setup far too limited for a disaster of this scale. On December 16, 1835, temperatures in New York plummeted to below zero, making it one of the coldest winters on record. And just after 9 p.m., a fire broke out in a 5-story warehouse on Merchant Street. It's believed a gas line may have been the culprit, but in truth, nobody knew exactly how it started. All they knew was that the fire was spreading fast. The wind carried flames from building to building, setting the entire neighborhood ablaze. Within hours, what had started as a single fire turned into a monstrous inferno, consuming block after block. To make matters worse, the city's water sources had frozen over in the extreme cold. Firefighters struggled desperately to control the blaze, but they were severely under-equipped. The fire raged for almost 2 days, spreading across 17 blocks and destroying hundreds of buildings. The financial district, which housed many of New York's most important banks and businesses, was hit particularly hard. By the time the fire finally burned out, around 700 buildings had been reduced to ash. The estimated damages? Around $20 million back then, over $500 million today. But as devastating as this fire was, it marked a turning point. The city's leaders realized that they couldn't afford another disaster like this. The Great Fire of 1835 set off a series of changes in New York's fire safety regulations. The city invested in better firefighting equipment and established a more reliable, organized fire department. They also began replacing the wooden buildings with structures made of brick and stone. The rebuilding of Lower Manhattan was ambitious. Brick and stone replaced wood, and a new type of architecture emerged that would eventually give New York its iconic skyline. The fire also accelerated the establishment of a citywide water system, eventually leading to the construction of the Croton Aqueduct, completed in 1842. This system helped ensure that water would be available to fight future fires and supply the city's growing population. The Great Fire of 1835 didn't just change the landscape of New York, it changed its spirit. New Yorkers emerged stronger and more resilient, determined to build a safer, more modern city. The fire may have left scars, but it also ignited a drive for improvement that still defines New York City today. So next time you walk through Lower Manhattan, think back to the night when flames lit up the sky and New Yorkers fought to save their city. The Great Fire of 1835 was a tragedy, but it was also a catalyst, setting New York on the path to becoming the city we know and love. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories from history that shaped the world we live in.